Hello everyone again, it is Joy Benjamin, and in this episode on quadratic relations, we're going to look at quadratic equations and their forms. So we're going to look at the standard form, the factored form, and the vertex form, and what each one of those tells us about the parabola. Starting with the standard form, we have y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Remember that a, b, and c are just coefficients, they are numbers. But the a can tell us not only the direction, that's whether it goes up or down. Remember that up is positive. If it goes down direction, it's negative. It also tells us the stretch. So the higher the number, the skinnier this parabola will be. The closer to zero this number is, the wider the parabola will be. The b, on the other hand, tells us whether this parabola is shifted left or right. So if we have a positive b, it will shift to the left. If we have a negative b, it will shift to the right. And the c tells us the y-intercept. Let's have a quick look at what this means. And just to note, I have put this GeoGebra applet in the links below, so have a look. It's quite fun to play with. And let's look first at our a in the ax squared plus bx plus c. If I increase this, we can see the parabola getting thinner. If I decrease it, we can start to see it getting wider. But if I go below 0 to a negative number, we can start to see that parabola change direction. Let me just reset it here to 1. And let's look at what happens with b. We said negative shifts right and positive shifts left. So let's go positive first. We can see that shifting to the left. If we go negative, we can see it shifting to the right. I'm going to reset that back to 0. And let's have a look at our c. So c, we said, was the y-intercept. So as we move that, we can see -4 and our y-intercept down here, -4. Now if I sort of play with all the numbers, let's see what happens here. There's my intercept at -4. I've got a positive b, which means I shifted left, and I am greater than 1, which means my parabola is getting thinner. Next, we're looking at the factored form. And again, this a value tells us the direction, whether it's positive or negative. So remember, positive is up, negative is down, and it also tells us the stretch, exactly the same way that it told us in the standard form. The other interesting aspect here is that these two values here tell us what we're known as the roots. And the roots is another word for the x-intercept. So if I set either one of these values to 0, it means the whole thing will be 0. So this is where y equals 0, because anything times 0 is 0. So let's have a look. If I set x plus b equal to 0, that means my first intercept is going to be -b. And if I set x plus c equal to 0, my second intercept is going to equal -c. Let's have a look at this applet again, the GeoGebra one, and we're looking at the factored form. So the a here, we can move this around, and we can see that we can change the stretch and the direction of the parabola the same as we could before. And here is where my x-intercepts are set, or the roots. In this case, we have a root of 2 and -1. So if I move this, we can see the root moving, the one on the right side. If we move this one, we can see the root moving, the one on the left side. I can even change it so that it flips around to the other side. And finally, we have the vertex form. So we have our a, which once again is our direction and our stretch. And then we have the other values here which give us the vertex. So our vertex is actually known as h and k. We have to be a little bit careful here because we have this negative sign. So let's say we had the equation y equals 3, x plus 4 plus 6. Our vertex would be -4 and 6. So just a little bit of caution there, but this form, after we complete the square, gives us exactly what we need to know where the vertex is. Moving over to look at that from the graph perspective, again, we can move the A around. We've got some stretch. It gives us direction. I'm going to put this back to 1, and then we can move the vertex around. So we can see here that h equal to 3, k is equal to -2 in our formula. So have a look at that. Make sure that you understand that. Do some practice. I have posted some practice below. Always a good idea to practice with these equations. So with that said, we have our three forms, the standard, the factored, and the vertex, and each one gives us different information and different clues to what this parabola looks like. That's all for now. Again, leave me some comments if you have any on the comments page and any questions that you might have. Bye.